This meeting is being recorded for some of our guests who at the last minute were not able to join us. But welcome to the advisory committee meeting for the Electronic Systems Technology department here at Chabot College. The agenda that we have for today has been sent to all of you. We will be looking at the budget, proposed course modifications, modification of our certificate of achievement. We're going to be looking at the schedule for our ESYS courses, looking at job outlooks, and then observations and recommendations have been made by various faculty and students in the program, and then we'll take care of any remaining business at the end. So with that, I will go ahead and begin with our presentation. So let me go to share screen with you, and let's go to here, and let's go to here. Okay, can you all see my PowerPoint presentation? Thumbs up if it's a yes.
Yes.
Okay, cool. All right. So we are having our first advisory committee meeting for ESYS for quite some time, and thank you, Chris. And I don't have previous minutes to review with you. However, we can jump right into the heart of the matter with. Well, first of all, let's go ahead and do this here. Oops. Here, and let's go. All right. Okay. So yes, we will go through, as I had indicated already. We do have the invited attendees. So Dean Kristen Lima is with us. Linda Renteria, the owner of Casa Sanchez Foods, who's contacted me. She's had a last minute conflict. Mr. Nicanor Ballesteros, esteemed colleague and former college administrator, educator, presently financial insurance and estate planning consultant, local to Hayward, and certainly has a vested interest in the what's happening in higher education here locally in Hayward. We've also invited everybody else that you can see on the list, and a number of our friends on the list are in attendance, and Nabil will be taking attendance at the in the chat room, and whoever else has come on in. So with that, let's go on to the next one. All right, so our budget for what we have invested in student education thus far. We've been so blessed in so many different ways from different funding resources for our students' learning experience that the funding has been divided into primary categories of software licensing, software license renewals, subscriptions to different learning modalities for our students. And so it is outlined here from various vendors of the different amounts and what has been, where the budget has been divided into the various vendors for their categories and contribution over the period of 2019-2020. And then we also have this category, which will always be with us, because in the electronics, we'll always have consumables, we'll always have parts that are broken, parts that need replacement, and then there's miscellaneous components as well. So the majority of those are put onto this page, and they come from various suppliers. Granger, Jameco is local to the Bay Area. Newark is in again, also local, and have been very, very good in supplying us with a steady resource of these needed parts. So this is the other budget page to review with you. And a copy of this PowerPoint will go out to all of the attendees today, so you can review this in greater detail, and should questions arise in any way, shape, or form, then by all means contact me anytime after this meeting. All right, so we do have some new funding formula concerns. Back in 2018, the state of California had adopted a new funding formula for community colleges and other institutions of learning, and that is based on the concerns have to do with the funding formula based on performance of graduates. And what is of concern is that a lot of our students are not necessarily enrolled in programs per se. Nothing would please us more than to have them go into a program and be completing a program for this certificate, that certificate, and ultimately a degree. The heart of the matter is there's a number of our students who are working full-time during the day looking to improve their skills, and as such, they come to the community college for 1 or 2 courses and not necessarily interested in enrolling in an entire program. And so the funding formula doesn't provide, as indicated in this article from the Union Tribune, that we have equity in allocation of the thing. So how does that concern us? That concerns us in a couple of different ways of trying to serve the needs of our students, as well as maintaining fiscal responsibility to the funds that are available to our school. So to that end, a couple of suggestions come forth, and let me share those with you. So we have some pathways for ESYS students, and the pathways for them to be vocal and contributory to the learning experience, to find out about ESYS, who we are as a division of Chabot College, what it is we have to offer to the community, to our local demographics, as well as what we have to offer in terms of job opportunities and what it is that they can learn in terms of enhancing their skills or a new skill set to sustain and support their households. So to that end, we have set up college tours, we have set up college days, we've had high school campus on tours, we also have had high school students enroll in our classes as high schoolers to get college credits, which is really, really exciting. So as they finish their high school courses during the day, they might come and take 1 course in the evening or 2 courses in the evening, dip their toes in the community college experience, and they are going to receive, and they have received, transcripts with college credits while they're still in high school. So it gives them a significant head start in understanding what the college environment is about. And if they continue to choose the community college route, then all the better for us at Chabot, because our intent is to serve the local community. And for those that maybe not, at least they're exposed to what college life is about. We've also had Manufacturing Day, and Manufacturing Day we've had several hundred students on campus, and what's exciting about Manufacturing Day is the students from local high schools, a variety of local high schools, come onto the campus, and then they review the specific departments of interest to them, especially the career technology education courses. So those departments such as automotive, such as welding, such as machine tools, and of course electronics are strongly engaged in promoting our courses in the eyes of the students who are interested. What do we do? What do they do over at Chabot? We give them a good hands-on experience while they're here. I have them build a simple circuit. They actually wire resistors and LEDs on an electronic board. They power it up, and the thing lights up, and they go, oh, wow, I've built an electronic circuit, and they're taught the theory behind it. And they have a takeaway. The most fun takeaway that they take is they have a button battery, and with the button battery, I give them a multicolor flashing LED, and they wrap that up, and they take it home, and it's something exciting to show mom and dad, something tangible that they were able to build and take home. And we really, really enjoy Manufacturing Day and that outreach to the community for our high schoolers. Now, we have some proposed course modifications to address the issues of concern that I'll share with you later, voiced by students, as well as concerns of the new funding model. The proposed course modifications are shown in this particular slide, fall of 2019. And what's particularly interesting, if you look at this very carefully, take a look at Tuesday. Tuesday, first 8 weeks. And for Tuesday, first 8 weeks, what it goes to show for CO, 2 courses, and they start at 6 and they end at 10. And these courses are the ESYS 50 Intro to Electronic Systems, as well as 56A, the Electronic Power Systems course. Now, these courses are taught side by side in the same lab space. So we have a rather large lab space, and the 50 students are on one side of the lab and the 56 students are on the other side of the lab. And as an instructor, I work with both groups, lecture just shortly to get some students started in the 50 group. They get started with tasks and get into the 56 group on the other side of the room, get them started with their labs. And I'm going back and forth between the students in this same room space. So that has been of some concerns from faculty observations, and also from the students, that here's an instructor that is doing their best to work with 2 different groups of students in the same room space, and sometimes questions and hands are raised simultaneously between the 2 groups, and then the instructor has to put one on hold while the instructor services the needs of the other group. So there is a bit of ping-ponging back and forth with respect to student questions, but otherwise, with respect to student tasks, the management of the class is effective to the point where students can stay on track, get their labs done, and have a good learning experience. But there is the issue of the distraction of the other group in the room space. So if we look at the second 8 weeks for Tuesday and the second 8 weeks for Wednesday and Thursday, you can see on the schedule that we are set up again this from 6 o'clock until 10 o'clock in this column on second 8 weeks on Wednesdays. There's the 63B IT Essentials Computer Group alongside the PLC Robotic Systems Group. They are on different sides of the same large lab space, and there is different conversations that happen, and sometimes those conversations can be distracting from one group to the other. So this is the model that we've had for several years from what I inherited when I joined Chabot almost 3 years ago. And it's worked to the best ability that it can. So what we're proposing beyond this is shown in the next slide. Here we go. So we're proposing a change of our courses and the proposed change of our certificate of achievement in industrial electronic technology. Presently, it is set up with this number of courses here, totaling the number of units shown at the bottom at 18 units. And the proposed changes are shown on this side. If you look at ESYS 50, Introduction to Electronic Systems, is 2 units. The proposed change is to go ESYS 50, Introduction to Electronic Systems, 4 units. Fabrication 51, right over here, is 2 units. It will remain at 2 units. But all the other courses that are pertinent to this new certificate of achievement and our new degree will be changed from 2 units to 3 units for this certificate to total 21 units. Now, this is not simply a change of units on paper. What this reflects is a change of time in the classroom and how the content is delivered to students in the classroom. So let me demonstrate for you so you can see how this is going to be reflected in the schedule. So let me go to the next slide here. Here's an example of one of our course outlines, and a course outline is rather robust because it shows a significant number of hours in lecture and laboratory. Presently, our side-by-side courses are intended as hybrid. So these on the previous slide that you saw here are hybrid courses. And what this means is for each one of these these cubicles on the schedule. Each one has a hybrid course intended for the student to do most of their theory online on their own. What was the question? Okay, so it's intended for the students to do their theory online on their own, and when they come to class, the class time is primarily for lab experiences. So there is one of the shortcomings that our students have, and our faculty, as I found, and other faculty have found. Professor Ruiz, welcome, good to see you. The learning experience in the classroom with just lab and theory being done online, there's the shortcoming there is that many students are not as dedicated to doing the online component as they're supposed to. So when I come into the next lab meeting, what we have found is, okay, well, based on the reading that was assigned online and based on the exercises you were supposed to do online, we should be prepared for this lab. And they're looking, some people have done that to their credit, but some have not. And if they don't receive a steady dose of lecture content, we may lose some students in the midst of the schedule. So what's happening with here is we take a look at the new course outline. This changed from 2 units to 4 units, but it also changed in the number of contact hours, and it also changed in terms of emphasis of what's being delivered face-to-face, what's being delivered online. And this shows significantly more time of theory that the instructor is face-to-face with the student. So this is proposed in curriculum presently, and we won't foresee this to happen until sometime in the year 2021. It takes a while for the process of these things to go through. But an exciting note to follow up on this is here. Let me share this with you here. This is the proposed schedule for fall of this year. Fall of this year, let me point out a couple of interesting things for you. We have, as we've had now for this semester, a daytime section, which we haven't had for quite some time here at Chabot College. We have a daytime section that runs the entire semester, and it runs for from August all the way to the end of the year to December, as it's proposed. And this particular course is without the encumbrance of a second group of students with a different subject matter in the room at the same time. We also have that here on Monday evenings. So we have a day section and we have an evening section, and the evening section is also proposed to run the full semester. Again, by itself without any other course with these students in the same room space. If we take a look at Tuesdays no longer chunked up into 2 separate groups of students. It's one group of students for 57A from 6 until 10 p.m. for the first 8 weeks, and then for the second 8 weeks, the B portion of that course. So for the entire semester, this group of students taking A and B are not going to ever see another group of students in the lab doing other things, posing a potential distraction. So this is the transition of how we're going to get our courses to go from this format on the left, where there are 2 different groups in one room space, to one group in one room space. And that's pretty exciting, and we look forward to continuing what we've started in the spring semester through into the fall, and then by sometime next year, all of our courses going in this direction. This has been very, very exciting, and a very helpful hand in this area is Professor Norberto Ruiz, and I thank you for all your support in that area, sir. All right, and now let's talk about some other things. Here we go. Job outlooks. This is exciting. This came about, this information came from Indeed.com, and they're this morning's postings, okay? And so we have all of these here, very, very exciting, and they do fit the outcome of our program, the outcome of our training, puts students, our graduates, in a position where they are qualified to assume these tasks where they can earn some very serious coin. Electronics technician, between 93 to 121,000 a year for the U.S. Department of Treasury, working at one of their Mint locations. Apprentice telecommunications technician for PG&E. We have another telecommunications technician here. AV service technician, high-end residential in Hayward, for a company called HDMI Staffing, at $44 to $50 an hour. And they do integration and high-end residential light commercial projects. That's an industry that I was engaged in for almost 30 years, over 30 years actually, in high-end electronics systems integration. So maybe one of my former competitors. A TV appliance, electromechanical technician. Here's one over here. Another one over, electronics technician for a coffee company in Richmond, between 30, 33 an hour. Electronics technician here, Department of Treasury. It looks like, oh, okay, came from another, yes. So very, very good opportunities for our students as far as job outlooks locally, as well as throughout the Bay Area. And now let's take a look at some observations and recommendations that have been offered by faculty and students. And so the observations that have been offered by our faculty and administration have been from Professor Ruiz and from our dean. So we're looking at changing the delivery of the content of our material to be more lecture-based, more direct with the student, interactions of delivering material where they have to immediately respond. So the immediacy of feedback between student and instructor for the lecture content is more strongly emphasized in the new model of where our program is being steered towards. Let's take a look at some comments here from some students. I have a very excellent student, Mr. Craig Linford. And Craig, bless his heart, he comes to school riding his bicycle, and he rides for miles. Finishes up class at 10:30, whenever we finish up our labs, gets on his bicycle and he pedals on home. And it's not easy for him. And so he wasn't sure whether he could make it to today's meeting, but he did take the time to type up his sentiments, which are over here. And then I pulled out a particular point over here that I want to share with you, and that is, let me quote, "At this point, I'd like to make sure it's understood that I'm not saying the professors themselves are being derelict in their duties. On the contrary, they seem to have more than their share of dedication to serving the students and enthusiasm for the subject. But here's the punchline. It is clearly an issue of being spread too thin, and I'm afraid is probably the ramifications of a general lack of adequate funding. Why else are instructors having to teach two courses at the same time in the same classroom?" Signed, Craig Linford. So that comes from one of our students. It goes to the very heart of why we're making the proposed course changes that we have. And we look forward to the proposed course changes going through curriculum review and then having the appropriate guidance towards a successful acceptance of these course changes so that we can implement these course changes, as I said, sometime as early as 2021. So that is what I'd like to share in the area of observations for further improvement in our program. So with that, we've reached the end of my PowerPoint. Are there some comments, observations that you would like to share or impart at this point in time? Most of your microphones have been muted, so you can go ahead and unmute yourselves.
Frank, I have one question. This is Nolly speaking.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, how's the online transition going for the lectures?
The online transition for the lectures are really being put to test during the spring semester right now, as we're all switched to online. And so the exciting thing is, yes, I find myself, and this is not a complaint in any way, shape, or form, but I find myself working 4 times as much doing and preparing the content for the lecture side. And I'm really excited about it because I have some really good tools now to be able to do this with, and have you've been using Camtasia and have been using Zoom for recording and have been using YouTube. So there are some very, very specific topics in various aspects of electronics that are chunked out from my lectures online with my students for the past 4 weeks or so now, and from the lectures, I've chunked out specific topics and recorded those onto YouTube. So if a student wanted to review a specific topic, such as parallel series circuit reduction and analysis with voltage and current and resistance and power concerns, they can review that on my YouTube channel over and over and over and over. And it's me talking to them, not listening to some prepared lesson from the net somewhere. It provides them the specific emphasis that I want to provide them as their immediate instructor for what it is they need to learn that will help them through a successful career change, if that's what they're looking for, or enhancements of skills, if that's what they're looking for. So I would say that the transition is working well from the boots on the ground side. The other parts of it are in curriculum, and we'll have to wait for that process to take its course.
And one follow-up, which is, how's the participation now that things have changed? You still getting the same number of students? Have some dropped off?
No, yeah, unfortunately, to answer your question, yes, some have dropped off. And as I've sent out emails upon emails to see where they are with respect to the different challenges, I suspect for 1 or 2, it's a technology issue. And although Chabot has been very generous and very proactive in providing technology solutions to our students, even up to today, where we're informed with 2,000 free Chromebooks, 200 free, not 2,000, 200 free Chromebooks for those that are most needy, in addition to the ones that the school will be loaning. The other challenges come in the areas where we've experienced in the past. Language would be one, internet access at home would be the other. So, and those students that were marginal, even during normal circumstances, have become even more challenged as we made this transition online.
Okay, thank you.
You're very welcome. Very, very welcome. Any other questions I can?
Yeah, hi, this is Catherine. I'm the outreach
Hi,
specialist. Hi, how are you?
Very well.
Thank you for your presentation.
Thank you.
I wanted to reach out to the industry partners that might be at this meeting. We were going to have a career fair this week, and obviously that was postponed. So I'm exploring ways to do a virtual career fair, and wondered, were people interested in participating in something like that? Go ahead.
Yes. A name that I can offer immediately is Linda Renteria, who's one of the owners of Casa Sanchez Foods at the end of, I think it's at the end of Winton in Hayward. They have been very, very supportive of our electronics program here at Hayward. They have hosted several tours with our students as well as the engineering students in their facility, and so they're intimately engaged with education, supporting education in our community. That she unfortunately cannot be in two places at the same time, so there was a larger meeting of the community with respect to technology and employment that is being hosted by Professor Mark Martin, and she is participating in that. I will be catching up with her in a separate Zoom meeting, reviewing the contents of this session. As she indicated, she was very, very sad that she couldn't be in two places at once, but that she certainly wanted to do a follow-up meeting with me to offer her input. So that is one name that I would immediately offer to you. And if you don't have her contact information, I'll be happy to share that with you offline.
Okay, and has she done this yet? Do you know? A virtual career fair or virtual hiring, I guess?
I don't know. You'll have
Okay.
to ask her that.
Okay.
But I know that in the area, she's been very supportive of us, of Chabot College, and of education in general.
Great.
Yes. Good. Thank you for your question. Okay. Any other questions that our friends may have?
Were there any recommendations from our participants about different, this is Kristen Lima.
Yes, our dean.
Of any recommendations for equipment or other purchases that you might suggest that we have to make sure that we're current in the field?
The most recent ones we had submitted.
No, Frank, that was for your industry partners to let us know. Yeah. Let us know what their recommendations are.
Yes. I think perhaps maybe Nicanor might offer something here. Nicanor has actually been in our electronics laboratories, and as a former educator and as a former college administrator in the area of technology, computers and technology. I don't recall if Nicanor had a chance to look closely at the equipment that we have at school. We do, in comparison to where he and I have previously experienced electronics technology, I would say that whatever we've experienced in the past that we've enjoyed so much, that was really, really top notch. This would be 2 notches. What we have presently is 2 notches above that, but still there's always room for improvement. And perhaps at some point in time, what I can do is I can share with Nicanor specifically what key pieces make our program so unique in this area, but yet some other areas that he might be able to suggest. I think that perhaps we can have a dialogue in a follow-up meeting. Would that be okay with you, Nicanor?
Oh yeah, that'd be perfect. So, and then I just want to make a comment. I did take an electronics, a very basic electronics course when I was at Hayward College. So. Whatever Chabot has it in spades over what Heald had. So,
okay, all right. Well, we'll follow up and see what further suggestions you might be offering as a local resident as well as former industry partner.
thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions I can field? Okay, all right. Well, if there are no other questions, then I will look to bring this advisory committee meeting to a close. I will, as I've indicated earlier, follow up with Linda Renteria with playing back this Zoom session as this is being recorded. I will review it with her, and then we will look to see what comments and suggestions she may be offering that would be helpful to our program. So with that, Thank you all.
Yeah, I want to say that too. Thank you all very much for participating. This is an important part of our process, is having advisory committees, and all your input is very valuable. So if you haven't spoken up today, please email Frank and Nabil and let them know any thoughts you might have on any of the things that he talked about.
Thank you, Dean Lima. All right. So again, I want to thank everybody that's was able to make it into the call. So Nabil, you were able to see the all the here. Let's do it this way. Okay. And all right, I have a very, very effective lab technician who's able to take roll of everybody was on the list of invitees that's actually able to participate in our meeting today. Okay, so with that, thank you all again very much for your time. I know your time is valuable, very much appreciated for your input and contributions to our ESYS program, and I look forward to catching up with others of you for some additional feedback. So thanks again. Have a lovely, lovely day. Take care. Bye-bye now.
All right. Bye-bye.
Have a good day. Bye.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Bye, Frank. Thank you so much.
Thank you.